Hey, fourth period foundations. It's Tuesday. Good to see you in the chat room. That means you found your announcement section. And we're just I'm gonna go right on into announcements. Make sure if you can't hear me or something, just type in the chat room. I open the chat room in case anyone in the virtual world has any questions. Okay, so today, remember last week, which by the way, you have been turning in wonderful ribbons, and we learned how to draw ribbons. You did your name, you did a letter with a ribbon draped around it. You wrote your name in ribbons. And you did your 4 sketches. Remember, every day you have a sketch assignment that, until further notice, is going to be right here in the announcement section. Today it says that you're going to be drawing 5 leaves. You can be creative as you like. I have attached some images here below, as you can see. Not that I don't think that you can draw 5 leaves or leaves in general, but when you're drawing 5 of them, sometimes you need to see some variation, but you are more than welcome to design your own, and they do not need to be realistic, and be creative with the 5. Maybe you take the words fall, the letters that are in fall, F-A-L-L, and you arrange your leaves that are making, the leaves you draw are actually making the word fall. Maybe the leaves you draw are falling down the page. However creatively that you want. You could make it like a wreath out of leaves. Gosh, I swear I do this every time. I don't even know how I do that sometimes. Just like here at the bottom of this one, there's this long elongated row of leaves. You can do your leaves that well as the same way. So this is 1 out of 4 of your sketch assignments that you're going to upload on Friday. You guys have been doing a really good job with that. And then we are moving into portraiture. We are going to be slowly learning how to draw facial features, our faces. We'll be moving on to self-portraits. Today you have a very simple assignment that, remember at the beginning of the school year when I said trust the process? If you trust the process, you will always be able to do this exactly the way it needs to be done. Let me slide this face proportion assignment up. This assignment I'm going to go over is not due today, it's due tomorrow, but I want you to take your time, and I'm going to click on it now. So it's very overwhelming when somebody, especially your art teacher, says, okay, now we're going to start drawing faces, because the left side of your face, the left side of your brain wants to very quickly do like a symbol of what a face looks like. And now that we're in art and we're learning how to draw, you need to know more than just where you're going to put, let me scratch that. In art, I want to teach you how to see these proportions. I'm sorry, I'm trying to multitask and talk at the same time. I'm getting ready to not be multitasking. Okay, so this is very simple today. This is what you're doing today. It's very, very simple. I have it all step by step for you. It's going to start right here. Okay, this is what you're going to do today in your sketchbook. You're going to draw. I would prefer you doing it about the size of your paper. It can be a little, I don't want you drawing it like super small, like the size of your palm. Anytime you draw small, it's a lot harder. Honestly, this is easier if you just use like a whole page. It's very easy. This is not going to look like you today, but this is exactly how you draw with correct proportions. So today at home, you're going to follow your slide presentation that I gave you, and you are going to draw an egg shape upside down. So it's an upside down egg. It doesn't have to be perfect. You're going to take the, like what an egg would look like, turn it upside down. So that's going to be your first step. And then you are going to draw a horizontal and a vertical line through that egg shape. Trying to be, mostly right, half of, trying to divide half the egg this way and half the egg that way. So you're going to draw an axis as close as you can. You don't have to measure anything. And then the next thing we're going to do is we're actually going to put eyes on where these facial features. I'm gonna turn the light off too, because I don't think those of you at home can see the little tiny guideline. And I know you're thinking, my gosh, my head's not that big, or my forehead's not that big. But you got to keep in mind that this egg shape right here also is including the majority of your head. So this is exactly where your eyes are supposed to be. And a little trick and a little thing you might not know, the space between your eyes right here and right here, the space in between where my pupils, my little tiny pupils are in my eyes, is the width of one eye. Okay, so we're even though we're organic and flowy, we still have all these mathematical proportions that complete us. So to get the best place for your eyes, all you're drawing is, think like an almond shape. Think like an almond shape, and you're gonna draw 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 almond shapes right here on that line. And then that is gonna give you the space for your actual 2 eyes. Okay, so the space between your 2 eyes right now, I could go around the room and, like measure specifically with some tiny little measuring device. Your eye is the same width of the distance from one eye to another eye. So that's how we get our exact placement for our eyes. And then here's our egg shape. And now we've got our eyes here. Now what we're gonna do from where we drew that horizontal line where the eyes are and where your bottom of the egg is, which is your chin, you're gonna divide that section in half. So here you see this line right here. You don't have to use a ruler. Now there's different ways I could show you this that will give you actually like, this is gonna be 1 3/4 inches wide. I mean, but you don't need to do that. You can visually look on your paper from that eye line to this chin line where half of it is. As you can tell, if I put my pinky and my thumb on these 2 lines, and then I move it down here, it's relatively exactly half. Now, that is where your ears are going to stop, and this is where your nose is going to go. So your ears, everybody in this room, your ears start halfway where your eyes are, and they end right where your nose ends. Everybody in this room. Everybody out there in the virtual world. Okay, so now we have our eyes and we have our ears. Your nose, the end of your nostrils will line up with your right where your eye starts. So the end of your nose, the little 2 cute little parts on your nose end right. So you're going to take a little guideline, just a very light line, you're going to draw down, and that's going to be the either side of your nose. And then you're just going to kind of do like this little wavy W. The point of your nose, the tip of your nose is right here. And then you're just going to kind of curl up on each side. So there's your nose. Very easy. This is step by step, very easy. We as females kind of already know this because we tend to do our eyebrows more than men, but most of us females know that our eyebrows typically start also right where our nose ends. Some of us know that we can like put an eyebrow pencil up and get a straight line. So your eyebrows are going to start about right where your nose ends. So you're going to put your eyebrows in, just draw, don't do like a rectangle, a large rectangle here. Kind of follow, what an eyebrow looks like. It goes from wide and it kind of tapers out narrowly. So there's your eyebrows. And then you're going to put your eyes in. So in the center, you're going to come in and you're going to do these round circles for where your eyes are. And actually right in the middle where your eye is, where the black part of your eye is where your mouth ends. So everything is connected. So from your eye down is where your mouth ends. So you can see. And then you would do the top part of your lip and then, suggest a little where the bottom part of your lip is. Very, very simple. And then finally, what you're going to do is from that eye line that you first initially drew and the top of that egg shape, you're going to divide this in half now, just like we did down here. And this is going to be somewhat where your hairline is. Like my hair would not be down this low. My hair would be a little further up because I have a side, part, but we're not drawing ourselves specifically today. And then you will add in another little line just to add a little bit more of your head. And I know this is hard, with me stopping and moving back up there, but essentially that is the proportions when we're drawing a face. Your face today is not going to look like you. We're just drawing a generic face. We will be moving later this week into how to get more specific facial features for you. So today you are going to just follow these steps. It's really, really easy. You're going to draw an upside down egg shape. You're going to divide it in half both ways. You're going to measure out 5 eyes. You're going to divide the bottom half in half, add your ears, add your nose, add your eyebrows, add your eyeballs, and then add your hairline. And then that's what, you don't have to, come in and do a whole bunch of detail. I just want to make sure that you know how to draw and where these particular proportions go. In addition, for you guys starting that today, I just want to kind of go over self-portraits because that is what we're moving into. And I'm just going to do a very quick little overview of this while we're talking about it. And it'll just be a very quick review. We create self-portraits. Artists back in the day created self-portraits, one, to document, who they are. Back then, back in the beginning of art and everything, there was no cameras to document anything. There was no way to tell a story without painting it or drawing. That's why we find all these ancient cave drawings. The drawing was here before speaking was. So it's a form of communication. Leonardo, you probably can remember at the beginning of the first 6 weeks, we did a ton of art history sketch notes. So you're probably familiar with him from Mona Lisa. This is a painting of Albert Dürer. I'm going to show you, the reason I'm showing you that is this is his self-portrait at the age of 13. This is a drawing he did of himself. You can tell in this painting that he did of himself, you can see very similar. Yes, that is definitely that man. Vincent van Gogh we studied him with Starry Night, which is that painting right over there on that window. These are his self-portraits. Most artists paint themselves a lot because they're their only, sometimes they're their only source of something to look at. So a lot of artists do a lot of self-portraits. Van Gogh's famous for cutting his ear off, and here's a picture, a self-portrait where you can tell he has now indeed cut his ear off. Frida Kahlo, we're going to get into in the next couple of weeks. She painted herself quite extensively. Pablo Picasso, you've done a lot of studying on him. You've learned about him in Cubism. You can tell as his styles change, so do his self-portraits. These are all of his self-portraits. Jacob Lawrence, you have studied. He was the guy that did the seamstress painting. You can see him up there painting. This is his self-portrait. Andy Warhol, we will get into. I love, he's pop art. I love Andy Warhol. We'll get into him. This is a screen print. More screen prints. Rembrandt. Did we do Rembrandt? I can't. No, I think my advanced 2 did. But notice this is a very young Rembrandt. Younger, getting a little older. So he did portraiture of himself throughout. Think back to, you guys have your school pictures. He just has all his paintings that he did of himself. I know you've done Chuck Close. This is, I'm obsessed with him. This is a pencil drawing. It's gigantic pencil drawing. I mean, look at the hair from his mustache and little nose hair peeking out. You studied his painting qualities. Here's 2 images of Chuck Close at different times and age of his life. MC Escher, I don't think we got into, he does these really cool pop art things. He did himself in this reflection of this globe. Norman Rockwell. Did we do Norman Rockwell? I feel like, no. American artist, famous. Notice at the corner, he has even added up in this whole painting that he is doing of himself, drawing himself. He has added famous portraiture artists, which were I've showed you today, Rembrandt and Picasso and Van Gogh. You can tell that right there. He actually included that in his painting. Now, why am I telling you all this? And why are portraits important? Well, they're important because you can make money off of them. There's a drawing outside in the hallway that one of my students did at my first year teaching. I had him in foundations, and I had him numerous years, and so I have the drawing. It's outside, and it's a pencil drawing, and he went on to go to Edgecombe Community College, got like a mechanical degree, and he makes more money drawing portraits than he, I mean, my point is, in addition to his mechanic job that he gets maybe insurance and stuff from, he makes a lot of money because people are constantly contacting him. Hey, would you draw a picture of my child? I'll show you some of that coming up. But careers, illustrators, graphic designs. Some of you already out there in the virtual world, I know this because I see your a lot of your work, a lot of it, some of y'all are into anime, some of you have your own style already. Everything needs imagery, our book covers, our magazine covers, posters, movie posters, everything needs imagery. Commercial art, we'll be moving on into that. These are all, look at all these portraits here. The Gerber baby's very famous. Another things you can do, if you are a super talented artist, you could be a police sketch artist. Yes, this is a real job. It's not just in those CSI movies or television shows. They're legit people that are at police stations that if you come in and you're trying to describe somebody, they can take what you're describing and they take that information that I just taught you where things go, and they can come up with a legit sketch of somebody that they're looking for. Courtroom sketch artists, these are still used this day. If you watch the news or a court case, sometimes they don't allow cameramen or photos in there. So there's a courtroom artist that sits in there and draws what's happening during the day. Caricature artists. Now, we're not going to do caricatures of ourselves quite yet, but you see these people at street fairs, at Busch Gardens. They're fun to sit down like with your boyfriend or your girlfriend and let them draw, a caricature of you. What they're known for is they exaggerate features. Here's a perfect example. Anybody know who these two men are? Very good. Brad Pitt, Albert Einstein. Completely not what they look like, but yet it is. They caricature artists take certain aspects and they exaggerate them, distort them. What about these two individuals? Morgan Freeman and Obama. So caricatures. Now, take the concept of caricatures, and right now we can go into any city in the United States and grab a newspaper, and we'd be able to open it up, and it is a field day in there for political cartooning, because we have lots of characters that we can do caricatures of. So that is also a career. This one's my favorite up here. It's Bill Clinton, and this is what I love about political cartoons. I love not necessarily when there's words involved, because you have a very, distorted image of him. There's lipstick all over him. The flag has hearts in the backgrounds instead of stars, and then his tie is like this leopard print tie, which, if you know anything about Clinton, he had something happen. He had some sort of relations with a staff member at the White House. It was a big to-do, probably when y'all were younger. So I love that you can look at that one image and really start kind of getting like a story out from that image. Now, I'm almost through because I know I've talked y'all's ears off. I just want to show you, like, you know, like how you can do these phenomenal portraits. This is what, you know, my previous student does. He takes the concepts, this is not his work, but, you know, you can take color pencil, not just pencil shading. We're going to do pencil shading, but you can take color pencil and do beautiful renderings, beautiful realistic renderings of people. If you notice this is colored, but it's mostly colored by cross hatching and hatching. We've already done all that. This is just done with color to build up these skin tone colors. There's so many colors in here that make this face. These lips right here have like 9 different color pencil colors going on. To show volume, to show form, you need to know everything we've learned so far is to help you get to this point. How to shade, how to show form. Beautiful rendering of President Obama. Color pencil. It's so amazing that it looks like it's a photograph. This would be called photorealistic. It's photorealistic art, but it is color pencil, straight color pencil. Amazing work. Obviously, you know, you can always do portraitures of little people. Little people. You can tell I don't have kids. I just called them little people. All right, so that's just a little brief introduction into portraiture. We're going to be working, we're going to be doing some self-portraits. Today, you are going to make sure that you practice your face proportions right here in the assignment. It's not due today. However, if you get it finished, upload it. Take your time. I want you to trust this process, all right? And I'm going to stop recording and then I'm going to open it back up. So my online people that want to be back in just a live chat, just give me a second.